What's happening is our continuing effort to wring some measure of justice out of this very difficult situation, this very unjust situation that we have been experiencing for more than several weeks in our negotiations for better terms and conditions at the National Insurance Board. As it stands, the board is currently offering barely more than the notorious 5% that has been used as a basis for settling wages in several areas of the public sector. And it is an offer that the NIB workers are determined not to accept. Of course, the other side is just as stubborn, and they are now using the disputes legal machinery, the law, to impose their will in terms of that 5% upon us. Very recently, what they did was to break the negotiations down and to refer the matter to the Minister of Labour as a dispute. In our view, what they're simply doing is using a law that doesn't really exist, that never was established for the benefit of workers in the first place. And they're using it in a manner in keeping with its historical meaning, right, to frustrate the interests of workers. We consider the move to break down the negotiations to be utterly unbecoming of an organization of the character of the National Insurance Board. That is to say, of its labor-oriented purposes. The National Insurance Board is an organization where as many as 1/3 of its directors are from the labor movement. We think as workers we are entitled to expect better from such an employer. We are entitled to expect greater commitment to the collective bargaining process and to the bilateral process as well. And that expectation is not being met. That is further to other efforts to frustrate the collective bargaining process as it had been occurring long before, in terms of close ministerial direction of what is happening at the National Insurance Board. As we might have indicated once, the minister is leaving, or indeed the cabinet is leaving the NIB without authority to negotiate on the basis of its own financial capacity. That is an outrageous obstruction of the collective bargaining process, right? Something that has been mocked by the ministers themselves. Where we are right now, we are raising serious objection at the level of the Ministry of Labour that the matter should at all be entertained as a trade dispute. The law is clear as far as we're concerned. The law provides that where there has not been an exhaustion of the procedures for settling a dispute, as is the case at the National Insurance Board, that the minister may very well refer the matter back to the two parties. There's ample reason for him to do that, because some 86% of the proposals put up by the union for debate and negotiations on behalf of the staff have not been addressed thus far. And that is hardly evidential of an effort at exhaustion of the bilateral process. So we look to see what the minister will do in respect of the union's objection. Should he, however, decide to accept the matter as a dispute, then it is quite likely that very dire consequences would follow. For the first time, we are going to be enjoying the legal option of taking strike action. It is not something that we look forward to, because it is going to bring grave and untold hardship to the pensioner public. But our backs are against the wall, and we shall have no choice but to use the mechanisms that are open to workers, and that is the withholding of the labor, right? In that regard, we publicly call on all responsible persons to make sure that there's a return to the bilateral process and a return to sanity in these negotiations.